Yes, TBC. It's been a while, hasn't it? I hope you're all doing well. This is the first episode of the new and probably not improved Trouble Boys Club, and we're going to call it Rebirth. So, Jay and I have been speaking long and hard about this news, which I'm going to tell you, and unfortunately, Jay's going to have to take a step back from being the co-host on the Trouble Boys Club. That's right, my best friend in the world, host, Hilf husband is going to have to take a step back just because of other commitments that he can't get out of. He can't lock down the Friday night recordings and things like that, just due to his family commitments and all that stuff. And I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss you, bud. Doing this pod with him so frequently was the highlight of my Friday nights for God, as long as I can remember now. I can't not remember doing the pod and stuff with him. So thank you very much, mate. And this is still as much your pod as it is mine. And anything that we do going forward surrounding anything to do with the Trouble Boys Club, it's ours, mate. Yeah, I'm going to continue doing it solo and all that stuff, but you're still a big part of it. So don't you worry, mate. A little shout out to Jay there. Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been so good to do it with him. Getting together with your best mate on a Friday night. Obviously a lot of people do that anyway and go to pubs or nightclubs or whatever. Whereas we spent our Friday nights shooting the shit with each other, maybe annoying guests or anything really. And it was great. So to quote Fall Out Boy, thanks for the memories. God, I need to get funnier. I suppose if you're worried about our friendship, don't be. We're going to be best mates to the bitter end, and I wish him the absolute best. I'm saying that he's gone to fucking Australia or some shit, but nah, I absolutely love him. I'm going to miss doing this with him. But the show must go on. Do you know what I mean? After we spoke and things like that, I was thinking it'd be so easy to throw in the towel and just be you know what? We had a good run, boys. Let's knock it on the head and just thank everyone who we've met along the way and people who have helped us and stuff, and just go back to doing not this. But there was just something in me that was nah, don't stop, man, because I still see the potential for this to be something great, and I still feel the sort of calling within me to sort of be in this realm with people and speaking to people, because I think it sort of goes both ways. As much as I want to think that I can help people, I also think that I can receive it as well, because I've not got all the answers, man. I don't think anyone has, but I think speaking to people and sharing experiences and things, what people have been through and how they coped and what they got out of it and things like that, I fully appreciate the sort of wisdom that other people can offer, especially people who are from completely different backgrounds, different parts of the world, and have different upbringings and things like that. To not want to broaden your horizon on how to fucking try and live as a good person or better yourself as a person. It just not in my sort of makeup. Maybe that's just a me thing of always wanting to improve and always wanting to be better, because I don't know, maybe that's something instilled from childhood or whatever, where it's don't settle, and don't just throw in the towel. It's been good type attitude. This obviously could fail going solo, mate. I'm fucking Robbie Williams when he left, tell you that. But to me, it could succeed, it could fail. I don't think that's a sort of motivator for me to I want it to be a success. Well, obviously I'm not naive in the fact that I would love this to be my full-time job or whatever, but that it's going to be difficult. And are you ready? Are you ready to face that? Are you ready for it to be difficult? And it's well, fuck yeah. Take your own advice. We say to people on here all the time, when you're faced with I don't know, adversity or something that hasn't gone your way, what are you going to do? And it's well, you fucking lace up your boots and stuff and just go for it. What's the worst that could happen? Do you know what I mean? So no, I'm gonna continue it solo, because I think I'm just far too passionate about it, and I want to continue doing it, because I enjoy the conversations that I have with people from different backgrounds and things like that. And I don't know, I find like comfort in shared experiences with people, because sometimes, or a lot of the time, like growing up and things like that, like I used to think I was a fucking alien, and like only bad shit seemed to happen to me. And from like the outside looking in, everyone had a fucking perfect life, and I was being singled out by some fucking greater entity or whatever for something that happened in like a past life or some shit. But obviously, it's never the case. But when you're so young and you don't have emotional intelligence, you don't have awareness of like what fucking feelings are and why you feel in a certain way, that comes with experience and time. So yeah, I wanted to come on, do a solo pod, try and keep it as brief as I can, because it's hard to be captivating just on your own. But like, again, fuck it, I've got nothing to lose. And yeah, so I guess, so why am I so passionate about this still? Like, I still get the jitters when you fucking hit record and all that shit. One sec. And this podcast was born out of despair, really. Like, it was probably one of the worst phases of my life when we decided to do this podcast. Like, I was going through a divorce, like my marriage had just fallen apart, and like Jay was doing the good mate thing and chilling with me on a Friday night, just essentially keeping me company, making sure that I was all right. And you know, I'm eternally grateful for him being there, because if he wouldn't have been, I would have just been on my own in silence. And everyone knows that like when you're on your own with your own thoughts, you can fucking batter yourself, like metaphorically, like inside your head, you can just start pulling yourself apart. But thankfully Jay was there with his laptop, and we've been speaking about doing this for a while, and I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. Like, put the laptop on my daughter's table, which is over there still, go onto the inbuilt Apple voice recorder and just start. And God, I've not listened to those first 3 episodes for a while that we did on the table and stuff, but God, it was fun doing it. And the first ones are always the worst when you look back on anyone's like YouTube channel or whatever. Like, if you sort their videos out from like oldest to newest, the first ones will be absolutely wank. Probably still not that much better, to be fair, but like I think we're doing okay at the minute. But yeah, like I say, it was a really tough time for me, but doing the pod and getting like, when we opened it up to like guests and things like that, like it gave me so much like purpose. And I know that might be like sad as fuck, but all I was doing was going to work and waiting for the days where I had my kids, and that just, there's not a lot of purpose there, you know what I mean? Obviously you got the purpose of being like a father and things like that, but you can't, that's not a life, do you know what I mean? It was just a hamster wheel, and I wasn't doing any reflecting, or I wasn't doing anything to help myself. I was just burying my head in the sand and still trying to be a good dad, and things like that. And I just wasn't improving. I wasn't elevating myself. But then when we started doing this pod and started speaking to people, it was therapy for me, because finding out that what things people did to sort of like get themselves out of it, or, you know, if they went through something in childhood or whatever, and it was like similar to me, but like, wow, like it happened to so-and-so as well, like it weren't just me, kind of thing. And it was self-therapy. And what have I put here? I've got a lot of notes here for myself, because I'm the notes guy, you know what I'm saying? So I think I want to continue doing it, because I want to help people and help people see that the only way that you're going to sort of like achieve any form of like mental resilience, or sort of want to continue when life throws you a bad hand, is you're going to have to go through the shit. Like, that's the rough and smooth of it all. Like, you don't inherit resilience from simulated situations. Like, they don't exist. Like, you can put yourself through whatever in like a SAS style format, but it's not real, because it's dead hard to explain. But unless you sort of experience it, like, and it's real, it's not simulated, it's not a sort of like test. Well, it is a test, but you know what I mean? then when you experience it and go through it, you have to decide who you want to be. Like, do you want to be the person who sort of like sits back and like eats the shit, or do you want to be like fucking Goggins and be like, motherfucker, and then just like step to it and sort of, I don't know, at least try, because that's all you can do, isn't it, when you're in like the face of adversity or whatever. The ability, I suppose, to sort of like self-reflect is great after the fact. It's that bit when it first initially happens that I don't think anyone's mastered. I certainly haven't. When it first initially happens, and that split second of thinking, of being like, wait, let's just like pause and weigh up your options type thing. And then maybe an hour or so later, you'll have that inner monologue talk with yourself about how you could have done things better. But it's the bit before that I think most people need to work on, me included, and hopefully we're going to be able to crack that code together. But yeah, I suppose my generation, at least, the fucking noughties kids or whatever, I think we've been like pre-positioned to suppress emotions, and there's certainly a pattern that I've certainly found with like lads my own age that just fucking struggle to open up unless they've had a fucking 5 or 6 beers down them, and then it sort of peels back that veil of sort of who they're pretending to be on the outside, like the facade of the persona that they put on for certain groups of friends, maybe their parents or whatever. And then when they feel that their walls are sort of like down, they become the actual person they've buried or continuing to bury and things like that. And I think the most important thing we can do as like a generation is to make sure that the next one doesn't have to pay for it, i.e. our kids. Because what you're essentially saying is, I'm going to do fuck all, my kids can deal with it. And I think the first job on any parent's list is to protect their kids, and being aware of that and having knowledge of that if I do nothing about how I conduct myself as a human, my kids are going to have to do it. And being that person like now that's saying no, my kids aren't going to have to deal with that, because I'm going to put in the work to make sure that they don't have to. Because you owe it to them. You brought them here. You brought them onto this planet. And to think that because of your ignorance and lack of action, that they're going to have to then spend maybe 20 years of their, say, 80-year lifespan sorting out the shit that you've passed on to them. Because you can't talk. You can't help them understand what emotions are and things like that. Like, it's just bad. No, it is. I couldn't sleep at night knowing that, like, well, I'll just do fuck all about it, and like they can deal with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you're a kid and you have that like persona that your parents are your heroes, and that can sometimes fade as you get older. Whereas me personally, I never want that veil to fade. I always want my children to look at me like I'm their hero. Because of like putting them first, and basically making sure that like whatever that has happened to me in my life or whatever, they don't have to deal with it or say, oh, it's all right, Dad, it's because X, Y, and Z that you've been through that you're reacting like that. Nah, like that's not the way I want to do things, and I don't really know what my point is on that. But I think I said we owe it to our kids, if you're gonna procreate, to sort out your shit. And I think speaking and just talking to people who are like-minded can really help you do so. And that's what I think I'm here for, or here to do, or here to try and do. Because as much as I'm still relatively young in the sort of like grand scheme of things, I think I've got a lot of life experience. And I think like any situation that like someone may have gone through, I think I have. Like, you know, like whatever a person concedes as a traumatic event or a experience in life where you've had to pull yourself up out of the shit, like I've done it. Like I've done it pretty much solo as well. Like, I swear a few of my mates have said to me like, you're the guy I don't need to worry about, which is, it's a pretty shit place to be fair, because like, why am I the guy no one needs to worry about? And it's because I've always had to pull myself up out of the shit, always had to dust myself down. I don't know, not allow that Thor's hammer of life to sort of like keep me there. And I don't know what it is in me that sort of doesn't quit. I mean, in the moment, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm defeated. Fuck yeah, I'm like, oh, fuck this. Like, like you know what, that you go into the victim mentality and things like that, and you can blame others or whatever, but then sooner or later you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, that was vastly a lot to do with you, mate. And I don't know, just I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about life. I've learned a lot about the swings and roundabouts and the hoops that like people have to go through just to fucking get up out of bed, and like the mask that people wear metaphorically so that they can go out and sort of like present themselves to the world as this person that's okay, and they're just fucking not, because they don't know how to speak about what it is that's going on internally. And yeah, God, I am the rabbit hole master without Jay being it, and he's normally got that title. I guess what else I wanted to discuss was like, well, doing the podcast has allowed us to meet a lot of people. It really has. And some of those people who we've met and spoke to have really had tough lives, to the point where me and Jay have been like, that's like, we've been through fuck all compared to some of what some of our guests have been so open about. And I'm really glad that we sort of created that environment for people where they looked at us and was like, you know what, these lads are all right. They are approachable and they're warm, and I feel like I can proper let my guard down and stuff with someone who I've never met before. I've only exchanged a couple messages with on this Instagram, but I think the fact that we were able to do it so easily, and like when me and Robin were doing the root cause therapy, like a big thing about it is making the person feel safe. And I think me and Jay, as a sort of like combination of us both, allowed a lot of people to feel safe, because we didn't polish a lot of our stuff. We don't watch what we say. I don't think we try and be sort of anyone who we're not. Like I think we've said before, like the people who you would meet on camera now, hello, you'd meet that same person in Tesco or in the pub or whatever. Like, we're not different people for the podcast. Like, we are ourselves, probably too much of ourselves to be putting it online and all that shit. And, you know, it's got me in trouble, but that's neither here nor there. But I think my sort of like the highlight reel of me and Jay doing this has probably been meeting Robin, because she does the whole like generational trauma coaching, things like that, and helps men like first to like identify that that's the case, and helps them develop better belief systems internally about themselves. And meeting Robin and then doing the whole root cause therapy with her, it's fully changed my life, man. Like it really has. And I'm very, very grateful for Robin as a person, a therapist, a friend, just very grateful for her being on the planet at that time when I really needed her. And yeah, big shout out to Robin. I think she's just a wonderful person, and she's going to be coming back on soon with a guest of her own. That's all I'll say on that, but that's going to be really, really good. Something that I think it's going to be an episode where I think a lot of people will be like, I wish I could do that with that person, and actually have that conversation with that person who I'm trying really hard to not give it away. But like, say people who have been through stuff, and the person that was like the catalyst to them going through it, to be able to have a conversation with them, a sort of a very honest, a very hard-hitting one that Robin is going to do. Hopefully Jay will be on that one, because I think it will be needed. I think me doing it by myself might be, I don't know, it might be a bit intimidating, to be fair, but that's to come, which will be mint. And yeah, allowing me to do that whole root cause therapy stuff with her, which I can recommend more to anybody who, I don't know, feels like they're in a bit of a rut, or they feel like the mindset that they have isn't going to change on its own, no matter how many times they bang their head against the brick wall, metaphorically, again, and they really need something to go in and rewire their brain. Like, root cause therapy is up there, man, because like I fully needed it. I like, after my marriage fell apart and things like that, I remember telling Jay, and I think I've said it on here a couple of times as well, that when my daughter, when I was tucking her in, and she said, "Love you, Daddy," and I don't know, there was something in me, like a really hard to describe, especially about getting emotional, but it was like someone let off fireworks in my brain, and I shut the door and things like that. I said, love you too, like instantly started crying. And I ran downstairs and I think I was going into overdrive, like emotionally. I was feeling everything that maybe I'd experienced for like 10, 15 years prior. And throughout all that time, I was in survival mode, and I was putting on a different mask every day to just sort of get through life and sort of be like, please just have a good day today type attitude. And most of the time it'd fall apart, and I'd have no idea why, because I just buried everything inside, and I did everything to sort of like keep it in. But everyone knows now that like, the more you do that, the bigger it'll get, and then the more it'll fucking get you by the bollocks and ruin your life. But doing this with Robin, it allowed me to like go into like the depths of my brain and my subconscious and my deeply repressed emotions and things, and proper let go of the I want to call it like an anchor that I was dragging behind me. That victim, that kid, that black sheep, that alien mentality that I was just lifted, because I experienced every traumatic event of my life like head on, like on the nose. Like I was watching it. I was watching them unfold in my eyes and describing them to Robin. Like a lot of people know me very well, but I think Robin knows me more than absolutely anybody. And I've never actually met her in person, but she's seen the sort of inner sanctuary of my mind, and that's pretty fucking special, to be fair. Like the fact that she was able to do it, because obviously I could have tried it with someone else and it might not have worked. Apparently, like during the whole like therapy process, like you have to go through a couple to find your person. Do you know, like, you know that person gets me, that person's going to get the best out of me type thing. And I think Robin was that for me. And again, I couldn't encourage people enough to do it, because you've not got a lot to lose, but it's fucking hard. It's not easy at all. Like the tears, mate. You know the fucking like the ugly cries and shit that you see in films when, I don't know, they walk in and they see the wife on like the bed or something and she's not breathing, she's dead or whatever, and they just start yelping. Or in like the first Superman movie, when Lois Lane's in the car and she dies, and Superman does that scream, which like the whole planet can hear. Hopefully people will get that reference. It's the Christopher Reeve one, the first one. And then he flies up and flies around the earth and rewinds time. But that scream that he lets out is going to happen to you if you choose to do it. Because it's, in a way, you're opening Pandora's box that you've tried so hard to put barbed wire around it, put padlocks on it, put fucking digital combination safes on it or whatever. And it's but it's one of them. After it, you're like, I'm fucking really glad I did that, because like the person who I am now, when I think back about certain situations that I actually did, like I actually did these actions. Like I don't recognise that guy, don't recognise that, I'm going to say like that boy, because it was a very boyish reaction to things that I'd have. Whereas now, I definitely think I'm in my sort of like fucking, I don't know how to describe it, but I think I've gone past the sort of like boy mentality or like victim mentality or like why always me mentality, and sort of embracing my chaos that I've experienced. And I want to try and help people understand that they can also use it as their fuel, that it's not an anchor, it's just something that you have to drop, because obviously an anchor's still connected to the ship in it, and you can reel it back in anytime you want. Like you drop the anchor and then you fucking disconnect whatever that's connected to, and you'll be fucking reborn into another mind. That's the hope anyway. But yeah, what else did I want to say? I need to keep looking at my notes. 1 second. Yeah, what else I wanted to say? My hands have got pins and needles in them. Is that when you get to a certain age in life, as like man or woman, that's the person that you're going to be the rest of your life. Like once you reach past, like I'd say like 35 or whatever your beliefs, whatever your mindset is, whatever your views on like the world or whatever, like they're never going to change, because they're going to be solidified when you reach a certain age. So if you're before that sort of like mid-30s time, like try and use it wisely and figure out who you actually want to become. Do you want to be better than you are right now? I'm not saying everyone's walking around with a mental illness. I'm saying that can you put little pathways in front of yourself now to lead a better life? Not financially, not not materialistically or whatever. I think the message is more so to be comfortable in your own skin, to be able to look yourself in the mirror and actually appreciate who's looking back. The wins of being able to be yourself in the group that you surround yourself with. I think when me and Jay did the what was it, the Warm Ones episode, that was funny. He asked me about, or I asked him about the value of friendship, like what is it to him? And he said being able to be unapologetically yourself around that person. And it's probably like the best gift that you can give to anyone, I think, if that person feels so comfortable that they can just be themselves and not have any mask, not have any facade or persona that they're presenting to that person. It must be it's freeing. It really is freeing. And I think the older you get, the smaller and smaller your circle will become. And those people in that small circle, if you can be unapologetically yourself around them, you fucking won. Like people out there with the 30, 40 mate crowd, how many can you look at and go, if I bell you at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, and I need you to come and pick me up from somewhere, are you going to answer? If the answer's no for 20 out of 30, and keep those 10 who would answer very close to you. God, I've done this all on my own. It's been 35 minutes. Fuck me. Right. It's been a bit droll, hasn't it? It's been a bit fucking dark, to be fair. But I think going forward, I've got a fair few guests that I've already said yes to doing the pod and things like that. I think it's going to be a bit different, but I think it's going to be very close to home for me personally, which I'm very excited about. Like the guests that I've got booked in are proper, like, I want to say like proper real people, and the theme of myself wanting to be relatable to the guy next door or whatever, like it's still there within me. I still want my podcast to be that relatable one. Like I get it. Like me and the person listening can experience the same shit on a day-to-day basis type mentality, if that makes sense. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm still really excited to do it, even though it's on my own. I've still got that bug that sort of like thinks like we can do it, like we can have a good show and stuff like that. And I think our next joint episode is going to be in like the start of July, because we've been invited to club.Fest, which is hosted by our good friend Jason Hare, who is the copper from Cleethorpes. And I think he wants us to do like a fucking live pod or something like that, which will be very interesting to engage a large group of Cleethorpians, or whatever they call themselves. I'm moving around a lot because I need a wee now. So I think I'll end it there. And I want to say a big thank you to Jay for the memories and for the time and the effort, like every graphic that he's done or any post, he's jazzed up. I'm fucking well shit at all that. And yeah, Jay lad, I fucking love you, mate. And yeah, I can't wait for this next dawn of a new era of the Trouble Boys Club. So that being said, I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.